I remember this like it was yesterday, bro. You know, I'm telling you this concept of what I'm thinking about building out in a management marketing company for athletes. And after I tell you this stuff, the first thing you said was, bro, you got to quit your job. Like, your job is your safety net. You got to quit this job and go at this thing full time. And I was like, yo, this dude is crazy. There is no way I'm quitting my job to chase this dream. You know, at the time it was nothing.
So let's kick this thing off. So this is technically like the preface episode, I feel like, to what we've been building over the past couple months in WarmUps. And so I've been excited to kind of just set the record on what it is we're building, what that community looks like, and why we think people should tune in. So I feel like what we should do is kick off with what WarmUps is. We can be pretty brief about it just to kind of set the table there. Then I want to talk a little bit about what we do, so that way there's some credibility behind what we're building here. Then if we can go into how we got here, I think that's a super important component. And then finally, like right now, where are we at and what's to come? Does that sound like a good approach to you?
It's the perfect agenda.
Cool. So real brief, do you want me to kick off and talk a little bit about warm-ups, or do you want to take a stab at it?
I think you can kick it off and I'll kind of chime in.
Cool. So with warm-ups, what we're doing is we're talking about life outside of ball or beyond ball, right? We always say if you're starting in business after your career is over, then you're too late. So warm-ups has been our opportunity to get that conversation rolling, shine a spotlight on guys and girls, professional athletes that are doing more than whatever their respective sport is. It could be in real estate, it could be in tech. We've talked to people that have founded and are currently founding their own companies. So for us, we're really at that intersection of sports and business. Not necessarily sports business, but all kinds of business, right? And so I'm really excited because that is something that you and I do on a daily basis in similar fashions, but different verticals. And we'll talk more about that in a second. But WarmUps has thus far and will continue to be just our approach to clink glasses, talk shop, and dig into our niche, all with the goal, the primary goal. If there's one thing I want someone to take away from this video and all of our future videos, is that we're trying to break down the barrier for other athletes to get started in business, right? It's sometimes a confidence thing, but mostly just like a blueprint of the know-how. And they all kind of are interrelated, but creating a safe place for all of that shit where we already have the rapport with some of the athletes, most of the athletes that we talk to, based on our existing personal relationships. And that makes it, to me, like not some uncomfortable interview. In my opinion, sports interviews are rarely valuable because you have this like guard up that you just have to be like speak political, to the media, so that way you don't jeopardize something within your team or your sport or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, you don't know when your last snap is going to be. You don't know the last time you're going to dribble that ball or score a goal or whatever. So what does life look like afterwards? So there's a lot more that I feel like I can go into, and I might have already stretched it a little too far with just that overview. But what else do you have to add to that, if anything?
Great intro, Alex. But yeah, I think as far as an overview, you pretty much hit everything. Warm-ups is not an interview, it's a conversation. We're bringing in athletes to talk shop, talk about life, talk about sports, and talk about business. I was going to talk about the secret sauce, but we can get into that later. But yeah, Warm-ups is a place where athletes can come and share their stories, their journeys. They don't have to be this athlete who's accomplished, X, Y, and Z in business. They can be curious. They can be just starting that process of building out what their business is. So that's the beauty of WarmUps, that it just doesn't lend itself to, one level of athlete. It kind of stands beyond that.
Okay, cool. So moving on from here, I feel like it's important to talk a little bit about what we do. So since I kicked off the intro, and I don't want to hear my voice anymore, if you could tell us a little bit about what you do, and how, this came to be for you, jumping onto the WarmUps train. I think that'd be a good place to start.
Yeah, dope. So my name is Isaiah Lynn. I'm a business manager for athletes, business partner for athletes. Trying to change that. But yeah, I haven't always been in this space. I'm a former Division I athlete. Took the corporate America route, after college. Wasn't fortunate enough to make it to the NFL. But yeah, took the corporate route and really didn't have any desires of getting back into sports. Until around 2016, 2017. My best friend, since fourth grade, by the name of Torrey Craig, he made it to the NBA, super non-traditionally. He spent 3 years after college in Australia, playing basketball down there, and was invited to the Denver Nuggets Summer League team, and with aspirations of potentially making the roster as a 26-year-old rookie. He did just that. And then things kind of changed dramatically for him and I. Torrey had an overseas agent, and we thought that the overseas agent was supposed to do everything. We thought things just changed, and that didn't happen. So I was kind of tasked with handling Torrey's endeavors outside the game, because he was always passionate about doing things, whether in business, whether through charity and foundation. He was always passionate about doing things with his platform. We started doing a lot of things outside the game, and I was tasked with handling that unofficially at the time. I had a little bit of business experience, so he kind of entrusted me to kind of lead the ship, I kind of jump-started that into a business since 2017, kind of been doing it full-time since 2019. But yeah, my goal as a business manager, business partner for athletes is to, help them manage, develop, and scale their businesses outside the game. And that's either in real estate, venture capital, startup world, the private equity world. We vet any and all opportunities that the athlete's number one passionate about and have interest in. Did I leave anything out?
You've been all over the place, sports wise, whether it's golf, the NBA, the NFL. So I feel like you covered most of it. It'll be fun to talk a little bit about where our paths crossed. So let me give a little bit of background on myself leading up to that. But yeah, my name's Alex. I help professional athletes build businesses. I'm really passionate about upskilling people to expedite their learning curve and help them crush faster than, that's the life. Help them crush faster than just figuring it out on their own like I did. So the quick backstory on why that's so important to me. I went to school for pre-medicine. I was a first generation college student. All I knew was I wanted to help people and be financially independent. And I was like, oh, I like science. Like, I'll just do that. I'll go be a doctor. And through college, while my homies were drinking at bars and partying, I had my fair share of fun. But a lot of times I was back at the house building passion projects. And I always say that basically led me to becoming an entrepreneur by accident. So after I graduated, I'm looking at that med school application. I was like, nah, like I had to take OChem 3 different times. Like I've got all these relationships that I've been able to build over the past couple years in the trenches and business and beyond. I'm just going to use those and the knowledge I've obtained and just do my own thing. Because I was hustling in college, like everything from charging VIP wristbands at house parties to selling tickets to on foot to shows at the local concert venue and just taking a couple bucks off the top. And then, like I was talking about with accidentally becoming an entrepreneur thing, it was like I was just building stuff that I was excited about, passionate about. Like, I wasn't ever trying to be like some business guru, none of that. Like, I was having fun and trying to show off cool stuff that I had built. I had a company in a business accelerator, and I was pitching for money when I was 19 years old. I did Shark Tank open calls and it was like the round right before they like fly you out to film and everything. So just a lot of weird, diverse experience. I did all of that. And so fast forward, and I get this opportunity from the NFL to mix my passions of sports and business development as a business coach for these guys. So after that, I kept doing that, did the NBPA. That's where we met Miami Dolphins several times. We have events coming up with Wilson brand, like, you know, the Wilson like footballs and basketballs and stuff. WNBPA, esports, golf. We've got a bunch of stuff coming up. And then now I have the privilege of helping professional athletes build business on a daily basis. So as far as warm-ups goes, you know, like we talked about, the goal is to help break down those barriers for other athletes to realize that they can do this shit too. Like, they're more than an athlete, and, you know, here's guys or girls in your locker room that are doing it too. So my trajectory of like 6, 7, 8 years it took me to get to this point, I never want anyone else to have to go through that ever again. At least not, you know, people that I know personally, and I'm able to affect. So WarmUps is kind of like one of those platforms and communities that I'm trying to build to make a difference in that manner. I just want to enable, empower, inspire athletes by giving them that outlet to crush. Whether it's with me, by themselves, with someone else, I do not care. But time's the only thing we don't get back. So don't waste 8 years and time and of time and money just trying to figure it out as you go. And you'd be surprised, like, well, you wouldn't, because you know this ecosystem, but like a lot of athletes that I worked with, like, it's a confidence thing. It's not a connection thing. We know they're some of the most connected people on the planet, or can be. But it's just about knowing, like, okay, I'm doing this right. I'm not embarrassing myself, and this is how business is done. So that's my quick spiel.
Quick.
And I know, as well, quick for me, because you know I can talk forever. But I feel like it's my story, like leading up to why I'm doing this work, is like what makes me me, right? It's the fabric of everything that I do, the previous companies that I founded, and all the stuff that I do now. So I'm proud of it. I feel like I'm making a difference in people's lives, even if it's just one at a time. And I'm excited to keep building brick by brick.
Love it, bro. I guess we can get into, I guess, how we met. So yeah, this was what, 2019?
Right? It was definitely before COVID. It was a year or two before COVID.
Yeah, so probably 2018.
Screwed up that. That's how I'm like remembering my life.
That's how you remember stuff. COVID, pre-COVID. But yeah, the NBA was doing a career day, and I think this was something that they did annually at the time.
It was a summit. It was multiple days.
Yeah, it was the career summit. And basically the goal of the career summit was to expose athletes to business outside of the game. Real estate was one of the main topics, and also tech and startup investing, and entrepreneurship. So I was fortunate enough to go to that event with my friend Torrey Craig. And it was a 4-day event. It was in New York. And it was long, man. It was some long days. The first 3 days were tough, just kind of sitting lecture style, listening to speakers come in and share their stories and stuff, but that 4th day came, and me and Tori was about to skip it, man. We woke up that morning. So it's like, I'm education out, man. I had enough. And I was like, yo, we came here for this event, so let's definitely do it. I think that decision to go to the event changed the trajectory of my life and of Tori's life. But yeah, that last day, the last day was the speed bill. So basically what the speed bill was, they broke the group up into teams. They were given a business coach, a designer, and they had to basically build a business in a day and pitch it like Shark Tank. And Alex was our business coach. And it was me, Tori, Landry. I think it was only three of us, and we had Deepin as a business coach as well. I just remember, man, this is what I guess gave validity and credibility to you. It was like within the first 20 minutes of us getting into our group. I remember us, kind of brainstorming what business idea or what our business was going to be. And, we stumbled upon something, and you were like working on your laptop talking to us at the same time. And you like turned your laptop around and you had built the branding for the business. And you guys also threw up a landing page within 20 minutes. I'm like, yo, what the hell? Who is this guy? Who's this guy with this redhead with the glasses? And we went on to, I think we placed second in a competition to a nonprofit, which I'm not about to go down that train again. We definitely should have won. But yeah, that was our first experience, being in the same room. And, most people, connect and get phone numbers. I think we just connected via social media after that event. And
to dig deeper into that, like, first of all, it's crazy that like all of those stars had to align even to get to that point where we're in the same room. Because I know how it goes when you're on pro athlete time, like especially like the night before, go out, have a little bit of fun, and next thing you know, you're waking up too late to go to whatever you had planned for the next morning. But to dig deeper on your social media thing, it was like, I think you posted a like an itinerary of like all the flights that you had booked in the next 30 days. I was still in my corporate.
I was still in my corporate job at the time. I think I had like 9 flights in like 20 days or something crazy. But I posted it to my social media story.
Yeah, and so I'm like, on top of all of the other, like I said, stars that align, like for some reason at that point in time, I managed to catch your story. I felt inclined at that moment to DM you and be like, hey, like, see you're flying through Cincy, like you'll be here for a few days, whatever, like you should, come to our office space. And we've got, here in Cincinnati, we have this space called the Warehouse, where it's like invite only, off the grid, everything from music studios to a psych wall and a half pipe. Like it's like Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory meets like a co-working space. Yeah. So, well, you've seen it. So I'm like, hey, you should land here, pop your laptop open if you need Wi-Fi, like just being friendly, like say what's up, come on through. So I just wanted to dig deeper into that because I feel like there are so many things that like dominoes that had to fall for us to get to this point. And it's just crazy to look back on all of that.
Like that was like 3 months later, like post event, and we had no communication since that event. That was like our first communication was that DM, So yeah, it's just crazy how things have to align. You saw my story, and you saw the one CBG flight, So it was definitely meant to be. But yeah, so I get to Cincy. I don't think I ever told you this part, but that night I met with you and Matt Cattell. We had a dinner for a big dinner for Centos. And I had to make up some excuse of why I couldn't go to that dinner because I really wanted to link with you guys. And they were super mad at me because that was we only meet with each other like once a year. Like my team, and that was the one dinner that we were doing together, and I skipped it to come to the Warehouse and then go out and get some tacos. But But yeah, I remember, walked into the warehouse, was amazed at what this thing was. I literally tell people that the warehouse is the co-working meet the Avengers because everybody in there has a superpower. But yeah, then we go get tacos that night. What's the name of the spot? I always forget.
Bakersfield.
And I remember this like it was yesterday, bro. I'm telling you this concept of what I'm thinking about building out in a management marketing company for athletes. And, for me, it was a 2 to 3 year type of situation. And after I tell you this stuff, the first thing you said was, bro, you're gonna have to quit your job. Like, your job is your safety net. You got to quit this job and go at this thing full time. And I was like, yo, this dude is crazy. There is no way I'm quitting my job to chase this dream. At the time it was nothing. There's no way I'm doing this. This was October.
Yeah,
and
6-figure salary to $0.
To $0. I'm like, yo, this he's out of his mind. And literally 2 months later, I ended up quitting my job and doing this full time. It's crazy to think about and look back on, but bro, you changed the trajectory of what I was going to do with my life. I think I kind of had it in me, but you kind of helped bring it out. So
yeah, that and the tequila.
And the tequila. Oh yeah, tucking the tequila. Oh my God.
That's what really pushed you over the edge.
That's what
did. Forgot that part of the story.
Yeah, I'll tell that later. But yeah, bro, that's how we connected, and we kind of been, locked at the hip ever since. I was a part of your sports tech startup, as a founding member there. We kind of been together, and this just made sense, man.
Yeah. It's about building that bigger community. And I mean, even like down to when you and I went down to Miami for my birthday, and we're sitting in that hotel lobby drinking White Claws or whatever it was. And we were talking about like, what could this warm-ups thing look like? Like, what do we want to call this? Like, what is this? What are we trying to like really build here? Where's the difference that we're making? Because anyone can just sit down and make a podcast. And I think maybe that's our segue into digging a little bit deeper into what WarmUps is. It's like anyone can make a podcast, but personally, I'm tired of like listening to interviews all the time. Like, there's just it's like bottlenecking the amount of value that you can extract. And maybe that's just my angle when I consume content. But within our niche, I feel like we have this opportunity to bring out a perspective that you can't really get anywhere else, right? You see a couple guys doing it. You see like, the I Am Athlete, you see the Pivot, you see, a lot of the boardroom stuff with Kevin Durant. Like, they're also tapping into that athlete perspective that's rare to come by, this like new media, where, it's not just the political responses like I talked about earlier. And with our space of, business beyond ball, that like lifestyle business intersection, we're really leaning into that more than an athlete movement, right? I feel like just like when you've got an athlete at the podium in today's media, it's just always like safe, premeditated content. Like, I want to shine light on what's off script. I want to, like, you're on your social media. I said this to Landry, like, you're on your social media posting about food all the time. You clearly love food. Like, let's do this. Like, let's start this company. Let's start this, like, let's launch this project. He's like, dude, that's right up my alley. Like, I can't believe I never thought of that. And it's just like, yeah, because your life right now, your focus is on ball. Kind of what you just said, like me pulling something out of you. I think that we've been able to do that with our guys and girls respectively, right? Let's sit down and let's think through like what you're excited about in your life, and let's go build it, because there's steps to it and there's a blueprint, and we can bring in other experts and mentors and people along the way. So I just feel like that human connection and understanding is what is most valuable, because it allows you to open up and be vulnerable and get like to the real value and inspiration. And it might feel like we're blending two fields here, right? Like lifestyle and business. But a lot of what we do collectively in different cultures and socially is what people or the athletes that we work with on a daily basis are passionate about. Like, so if you love music, video games, fashion, sports, whatever it is, a lot of our athletes want to continue to build around that in those spaces. So we preach this stuff in internal conversations, right? And, let's build in those fields that you're passionate about. But you get to know the men and women in the jersey, and you almost like become desensitized as a fan. And I want to spotlight everything that these guys and girls are capable of. There's just like so many goosebumps worthy conversations I've had that deserve to be shared. So let's capture those moments. Let's use them as a platform. And I think most importantly, like build a community around those. So if you get to know that guy that you watch on Sunday beyond, his respective position on the field, and you support him there, why would you not support him in other places, especially as they're making a difference? So that's kind of the genesis, I think.
Yeah, I think the reason I really love warm-ups, and you hit on this, but we're not only talking to athletes that are, building these amazing business. We're bringing in athletes who are curious about a potential industry, and we're actually generating and ideating idea or new businesses on the platform. That's why I love it. Business can seem so daunting, can seem this hard thing. But the biggest thing is about business is getting the reps in, getting the reps in at business, treating it like business is a game. I mean, it's like the sport that athletes play. And that's why I think athletes are some of the best businessmen, best entrepreneurs, best investors, because they understand process. And that's what business is. So, warm-ups is that process, is, talking through how we arrived at this, or, what this
it's the coach.
Like. It's the coach.
We're the coach. We're outlining the process, and then they're there to execute. And that's how I handle my business. Is like, you're the CEO. Every company I've ever started with an athlete, they are the CEO. You are driving this thing. I am not an agency. I'm not a middleman. Like, this is for you to grow, and it is going to live and die with you. I will be your interim COO to help coach you and outline that plan. But you got to execute. And I feel like for warm-ups, I want us to go in the field more and break away from that traditional sit-down setting. I think we've done that well in what we've recorded thus far to just get like our base of, content. But, I think I've said this a couple times, like, let's build the biggest, strongest, most pure community in sports business, led by the athletes who are doing more beyond sports. All of our viewers, whether there are 5 of them or there are 5 million of them, that is our team, right? They could be sports fans. They could enjoy that Shark Tank style business breakdown and business exploration. They could just be people that want to grow something themselves or whatever. But at the end of the day, I just want us to have a community that supports each other. Let us know what your feelings are about the conversation or the business concept, or even how a specific athlete's journey strikes you. Like, put that in the comments. Like, we're not going to just beg people to interact with our videos. Like, we want you to feel something after these conversations, whether you're inspired to do something yourself or proud that, the episode that you watched, like, that guy's on your team or that girl's on your team. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I definitely want to dig a little bit more into, going out and about and really building that community. But I feel like, and unless you have anything else to add to that, I feel like we should touch a little bit on where we're at, like, right now.
Yeah. We're pretty deep into season 1. We got a lot of dope episodes recorded, and a lot more on the docket to be recorded. I think the list of athletes, extend beyond just traditional sports. We got athletes who had to, were forced to retire early, because of injury and had to figure it out on the fly. I think just seeing the beauty in that journey is gonna, inspire someone. But, a lot of different industries as well, real estate, mental health,
startup, the whole,
fashion,
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I think we're well versed in these episodes, and that's what we're really trying to bring, that, business isn't a one size fits all. It's really what you're passionate about as an athlete, as an entrepreneur, as an aspiring entrepreneur. I'm super excited about what we have so far. I'm now ready to share it with the community and continue building this community.
And most of what we've recorded thus far is really just to get a good base of content together. Like, right. We're still kind of figuring out how we want to do all of this on the fly, but I would say that we've kept our, nice parameters around high quality, valuable content. So from week to week, you're going to be able to learn something. You're going to be able to take something away from each episode. And I think that can be applied to such a wide variety of people. But, like you said, we've got more on the docket. We're going to be taking this into like a more real-time basis, week to week. So we'll be dropping a new episode every Wednesday. And then on Fridays, you and I will do a little recap episode, kind of like what we're doing now, just me and you. Do you want to talk on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think we're on the episodes, we're getting into a lot of dope topics that we can't spend as much time as we want on. So on the recap breakdown episode with me and Alex on Fridays, we'll be able to dive deep into some of those topics, really explore a little more, get into
like a technical standpoint.
Yeah, get into the nuances, the technicalities of some of the topics that we're talking about, to make it make more sense. But yeah, I'm excited for those, because I really think those are learning opportunities for people as well.
And like I mentioned, we don't have this all figured out, right?
No.
I feel like this episode we could record 3 different times and still not love it, but we're just gonna be vulnerable a little bit for ourselves. And like, that's something I should have mentioned earlier. Like, this type of shit is completely out of my comfort zone, right?
Me too, bro.
I've been the guy that is like an engine on the back end, behind the camera, not in front of it. I just do better that way. So for me to express myself and my personality beyond these like closed doors, or sitting around that boardroom table, like building stuff, or on the whiteboard, whatever, like, we are now showing off that whiteboard. We are now opening up our book and showing our notes. And I think that's like, even though we've been doing this for a month or two now, like, it's still gonna take me some time to get used to that, but we got to start somewhere. This is that. It's gonna be as raw as we can get it. And we're just gonna, I know you're laughing, I should have said pause, but you get my point. So
yeah, man, this is transparency, vulnerability, all of it, man. This is something that we feel is needed, and we're the two people that can kind of present it in a way where it makes sense. So I'm excited to be on this journey.
And if we just affect one person out of all of the money and time and effort we've spent building this thing, it'll be worth it to me. I could care less if we have 5 viewers or 5 million, as long as those people are coming back. And like I said, like, we're building that community, we have that inner circle, we have that family. I think we're doing it right. So we will do our best to take this as long and as far as we can go. But I think it starts with the community, right? It starts with the people that are watching this thing, interacting with us, letting us know what they want to see more of, what they don't vibe with it as much, giving us feedback, and then it's up to us to execute, right? And to take their feedback and legitimize it. So I feel like I've said everything that I have to say. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to add, but I feel like with that, we can wrap this up.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah. Let's do whatever we can do to avoid saying that, and so it comes with some more intention versus.
Hey, that's what the YouTube. That's what the YouTube people say, bro. I'm new to this, so I had to sneak it in there.
You heard the man. Like, comment, subscribe, and shout out to Caleb for the track, the custom unreleased WarmUps theme song. We try to bring a little bit of all of our network into these projects to make it as great as possible, and we owe him for that. So I think we can run the track.
Drop that shit.
Back in the game, it's evident. I step in the room, I'm an elephant. Run up a bag.